Hello, everyone. Corey here coming in to do the energy update for this coming week. And this is the 13th. And yes, the weekends follows into this week as well. But there's also a little bit of announcement stuff that I want to talk about. And I want to talk about my new book, Wine and Chips. It is here. And a huge part of my books and what I do is really about being able to release all of the lies and half-hearted truths that we really bought into, that we believe, the conditioning, and moving beyond the story. So as my stories moved and as I moved through the writing, came Wine and Chips. And Wine and Chips is that sense of part of that deep-seated shadow work and the kind of the ludicrousy that we exist in, and how we can exist in our stories and the characters in our stories and what we create and what we believe about ourselves. And this book is the story of a grape who knew she would. It's about Rose. And it's about the voiceless, and it's about that part of our voice that just gets silenced, a part of peace and parts of us that gets silenced. It's easy for our anger and our rage to sometimes scream and yell, but what we truly need and what we truly desire never really gets to come to the surface. It's harder to get to that. And so this is a book that really truly fills my heart. It has a combination of a lot of stories told in one story. And I always say that I write like um oh God, art. So it's creative. It is not that perfectly in place, kind of. It's not that perfectly put together. And it's like us. It is like the story of our lives. And for those who love the bigger print, I did keep that in this book as well. And there's even some pictures in this book. So some of my Paint Me Beautiful series paintings are in here. So this would be like my version of Rose. And we all have a Rose within us. And we all have a Rose within us that has a story to tell. And we all have that part of ourselves that speaks the truth. And there's such a beauty and awe and a benevolent piece of us. And it takes us a long time to realize that we are still that, even though we believe we're not, that we keep fighting and searching for something that really truly exists within us. And so if you're curious about my book and you love to really truly abstract art, that was the word. If you really truly love that sense of being able to have a conversation with yourself or have to go back and read pages again and kind of look at things with a different perspective, then this book may be for you. It's on Amazon. You can go to my website, all in the link below, and you can get directly to the book. It is on all the Amazons. So it is called Wine and Chips, and I'm excited that it's finally out. I'm very proud of this work. We have worked really hard. We have put together something that is really, really great, and we really hope that you enjoy this book. It takes a team. It's never just the writer. I do write my own books. I am the author and writer, but it takes an editor. It takes creative um, construction of a book. It takes being able to build it, put it together. It takes the artist to help bring the image on the covers to life and to create the image on the covers. There's so much that goes into it. It's not just my book. It is a collective. It's a collective energy to get that out there. So I hope to see it. I hope to see it in your hands. And if you do order the book, please leave a review on Amazon. We really appreciate those reviews. It does help in a lot of ways. The same thing as in here, it does help if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification button. If you love these videos, please subscribe. So, welcome everyone. This week's energy, where are we? What do we have happening? What do we got going on? I feel like it's not a single string of energy this week. There is a lot of kind of moving pieces, but it really gives us the opportunity to look at where in life that our energy, our stories are kind of sucking the joy. When we're allowing life to take the joy out of our experiences, out of our moments, and not being able to fully embody. And we see it everywhere. It's like if we're happy, it's a bad thing. We shouldn't let ourselves be happy. We shouldn't celebrate our wins. But yes, we should be, because that helps raise the energy, and it's so important that we raise the energy. Now, this week, So we're very much in our Taurus energy, of course. We're still in Taurus season. That's still running through for another little bit. The next big moment will be the next full moon. And this full moon has a lot of punch that's coming up. I think it's on the 23rd. There's a lot of punch, there's a lot of energy in there, and there's a lot of punching through energy with this. And I just feel like it's like we're punching through, and it's like we're kind of going through a breakthrough, and things are kind of breaking up. There is a sense of, I want to say, I keep getting revelation. There's some sort of revelation that's coming up. And so there seems to be some sort of revealing energy that is brings us to this place of revelations, and having those revelations and those ahas and those recognizing something within ourselves that may be also coming up this week in the energy. There is a distraction in this energy, and I'm keep trying to dance around. It's like dancing around. So it's like a little leprechaun. It's like dancing around, it's moving around, and it's moving all over the place, and it's a distraction. So it's so easy to allow ourselves to get distracted from what is our true purpose, or our true desires, what it is we truly want. Don't let yourself be caught in the distractions, and distractions can sometimes appear as that one person who walks into a group and everyone can be doing well, and that one person comes in and has to instigate, and so it has an instigator energy. So there is an instigating energy that is appearing, that kind of moves us through this time, or this energy of where it feels like it's attaching to something. I got to feel this through. Very weedy. It's a very weedy energy. Okay. How do I want to put this? It's stopping me. It's stopping me right here, right now. Hmm. Okay. Infestation. That's what it's like weed. It's like an infestation of instigating energy. And I do feel as if we're going to see it everywhere around us. Media news, people trying to instigate trouble, causing trouble. Your own thoughts may be your instigator. There is this disrupting energy that brings about a disruption. It brings about a chaos. So there is a real strong chaos energy that I'm picking up. It is still moving. It is like a storm coming in. So it could be tornado, it could be an actual big storm, but there is a massive kind of disruption energy that's coming in, and it causes a disruption. So I wouldn't be surprised if we seen on an earthly energy, seeing some disruption on Earth, some disruption in our systems, some disruption uh, in technology, but something has a really strong, powerful disruption energy. And it feels like it's almost like a force, like it's a forceful energy. And so you may be feeling it because it's on a world scale. You maybe feel it coming into your relationship. So you may feel it coming into your life. You may have that one person at work that is just such a pain in the ass. You may have that one person who tries to, um, you know, put a thought in your head to cause you to doubt, to cause you to want to move away from the people that matter to you. It may cause, like, you may find out something. Now, not everybody, but you may have something in a relationship of where you may find out something about your relationship, something about something in your relationship. And it's been a real wonky weird, but we're also starting to see the time lapse, or the breakdown of time and space. Like there's just like, it feels like everything is either speeding up or feeling very slow, or you're hearing things that you thought, well, that already happened. So this has been happening to me a lot lately. So when the whole, you know, announcements came out about, so I'm hoping this is true right now, because I don't know if it is or not, because I only heard it on social media, but that Justin Bieber and his wife were having their first child, that they're expecting a child. Well, instantly, I'm like, it's not their first child. This is their second child. They already have a little one. They have a little girl. They have a child. They had her like 2 years ago. She's 2 years old now. They have a 2-year-old child. And I could swear that I've already seen that child, and I've already seen Justin's wife pregnant, and seen this cute little belly on this beautiful woman, and all these pregnancy pictures. And it was like, it wasn't too long, wasn't that long after their marriage, but they have a 2-year-old. And I was so convinced there was another child that I had to go look to find out there was no other child. But I have seen the media of it. I have seen the pictures of it. I have seen it all. But I was seeing, I guess, what was coming. The joy of being a mystic, right? The joy of being a mystic and being able to have those prophecies and seeing that come in, that actually it has not happened yet. It is on its way. And so, but it's real as real to me in my work, and that I've already known and already seen that it already was here. Whether or not it's girl or boy, I don't know, but that's the way I was seeing it in that story. And so it was so visual to me, and I really believed that they already had that other child. And I'm like, oh God, this is like, so all of these things are happening constantly to me. And it's always this sense of validation. But the way that I'm seeing this energy coming in, the way that I'm seeing the instigator energy, is that this is a breaking energy. And it's just like breaking news. I just keep getting, and not triggered clickbait breaking news, but real breaking news. There is something that's coming into the breaking news. Now, whether or not it happens this week or it's tied into just May in general, it has just appeared in my wheelhouse of awareness. I was not getting it before, and I'm feeling it now more than ever. And it feels like it is moving kind of fast. It's on the move. Something or somebody is on the move, or underground, whatever that is, something is on the move, as if it's being released into the universe. And I just see it being released into the universe. So whether it is that instigates or just causes trouble or reveals something, like it could be in media news of something that kind of blows the top off of something that's happening. It just kind of, you're going to see big people fall, right? Like it just is. And so all of this, it just feels like all the stories begin to collapse. So in our own lives, stories are collapsing. Situations we've been in collapsing. Relationships collapsing. Things that need to fall apart. And sometimes we need to have these fall aparts or these endings so that it can come back together in a much healthier way. A really sense of being able to let out the cobwebs, to let out all of the corruption, all of the not healthy parts of ourselves, so that we can bring it back together. So it doesn't mean that the relationships end. It just means that it's something that really makes you really think how easy it is for something to instigate and to cause that kind of trouble within ourselves. So what am I holding myself? Do I still have old betrayal stories that I'm holding on to that I have not released? Do I have old energy that is tied into failure and not understanding success? Do I really not really understand those parts of myself enough that I can't trust me? And so this is when we start to move into being able to trust the self. Now, as I'm speaking, I feel like I'm on the run, and I feel like I'm running from something. So I feel like this is something kind of stormy, like tornado. It's coming at me. Like I feel like I'm moving with this energy. And so it is something coming in fast, which makes me wonder if it is kind of coming this week. But there's, of course, we've got this, but I got a lot of good stuff too. So there is a lot of joy energy also, but it feels like as everything moves beyond, it gives us the opportunity to come together. So if a relationship has that sense of somebody tries to put that little piece of kryptonite in it, it also gives you the opportunity to strengthen the relationship. It also gives you the opportunity to clean up work environments, to create healthy boundaries, to build healthy standards of what is acceptable and not acceptable, to really truly get clear on what matters to us, to look at our isms, our addictive behaviors, to change our habits, our belief patterns, to really look at who and how we treat others. All of this is such, it can be such a beautiful, powerful energy that it moves mountains. It shifts the energy. So there is something so powerful that is moving mountains and shifting the energy and making that shift. It is this same kind of energy that can also bring in beautiful opportunities, that once in a lifetime experience, or the opportunities that you never thought were going to appear. It just starts to come in. It just starts to be there. And it's just like, how did we get there? How did this happen? But it's happening. And there is the forces. Now there has been a release of this. I feel like the forces, the council of massive amount of angels. So is coming in. And so we have this divine intervention that is really truly embodying and kind of protecting us in so many ways. But there is a divine intervention that brings things to a halt. And we see things kind of have to really look at how stretched and overextended and over exaggerated the energy has been, the lies have been, and there's just been so much of an over exaggeration, an overextension, an oversaturation. And this kind of starts to clear this overextended and over exaggerated energy that has been having its toll for a while, but it has to move. So I pulled from my deck of the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards, which you can purchase directly on my website. I love this card. And so these are about from shadow to truth. And so we are moving from shadow to truth. We're moving into the truth. We're moving into following the light, going towards our own personal light, awakening that light within, being in that light, being a part of that light. And so we pulled from the mind the medicine woman, and this is Ruthie. And this beautiful card, and I love Ruthie. And so she's rooted, and she's her hands, her body, she's embodying that sense of the root energy, the root chakra, our sense of survival and being and procreation and all of that kind of energy that goes there. But it's also that sense of being able to really look at the root of the story, the root. And so getting to truth. What is the root cause? What was the motive? What was the what was the motive behind? So there's a lot of manipulation energy that is being played out. And when we look at the motive, what was the motive for someone to tell me something? Do people want us to? Sometimes you have to look at, why did someone feel the need to tell me that? If someone says to you, oh, this friend said this about you, why did you feel the need to tell me? If you knew it was hurtful, why would you tell me? Because shouldn't it just end at you? If it was said to you, maybe it should have just ended at you. And why did you want to continue it to tell me that? Why did you want me to hurt? But we don't look at it that way. We get mad at with the source of where it came from, but yet you still didn't get the whole truth because you didn't hear it from the horse's mouth. You got it from a third person, fourth person, fifth person, whoever it is that has been repeating it and recycling it and turning it into the way they heard it, they felt it. And then the hurt makes its way to you. And then if you were to never consult where the original truth or where originally stemmed from, you're never to find out what exactly was said. And good chance it never was exactly what you thought it was. It was something different. So it's always go to the root, always go to the source, and sometimes let things end right where they are and don't let them go any farther. But we must get to if you want to know the truth, you got to go to the original. And so the way home is the card that I pulled for body and embodying. And so this is me. It's me spelt backwards and me spelt forward. And this is like the death card. And the endings can be beautiful, but this is also that crossing over that rainbow bridge. And as I said in my last video, I did speak about someone having heart issues. And so it could be the ending of a difficult situation. It could be the ending of something challenging happening in your life. And then being able to move forward because she's been through the dark and she's coming into the light. She knows where she has been. And we're moving forward and through that energy. And spirit is the attach. So the spirit card brings us the attachment card. And this is B. And so she can't see beyond this. She's looking into the world for her validation, for her answers, but she is shaken and she is muted and she's blurred. And life can feel very blurred of when we're looking into the reflection of the world or the others to really truly try to define us. Now, there is these mountains behind her, these structures behind her. And so in her reflection here, she's also seeing that same reflection, but it's reversed. It's not exactly the same. So if we look into the reflection, we're not seeing it exactly as it is. We're seeing a reversed. And so we're seeing things in different place than where it really is. So if she were to turn around and she would see it, she'd see things differently. Sometimes we have to move ourselves into a different perspective so that our view is different, so that we can see things different. And sometimes we have to really truly move ourselves out of the way, the harm's way of the danger, and we have to watch things go by. We have to let things go by. And so there is now all three of these cards are actually in Mother's energy. Now we just came through Mother's Day, but all of these are in Mother. They're not in Maiden, they're not in Crone. All three are from the Mother energy. And so this comes from the sense of mothering, nurturing the right things, nurturing ourselves, preparing ourselves, taking care of ourselves. Self-care is so important right now, really caring for our needs, and being ready for these joyful things as well, but also to kind of not turn the blind eye at all, but find the spark and the joy. Find that sense, find a greater why. And this is a really good time to really find our greater why. Why, why am I in love with that? Why do I love doing that? What do I love? What do I love about life? And starting to seek more to open up the source of joy that only exists inside of us. It does not exist outside of us. It is what exists within us, and it is something that we start to open up to. So when we start to open up to the possibility of a life of joy, we don't have to pretend anymore. We don't have to act it out. We don't have to keep being apologetic, and we really can start to see that we were really okay. We just got filled with bogged down with a whole lot of stuff. And this takes us back to the maiden. So I know we have endings and we have beginnings happening, and we have the performer, Sasha. She's that spirit, feet are not touching the ground. So I do feel like there's as if there's some sort of joy energy that's coming in. And it just feels like so happy that you're just dancing. Your feet are not touching the ground because the awakening Delilah. So we have a Delilah story happening here, and she's not in the weeds. She's up above. So it is after the catastrophic damage of Delilah. And so I see the biblical story of Delilah, right? And so that biblical story of Delilah ties into Samson and Delilah. And Delilah in the Samson story was that she betrayed. And so we have that betrayed energy. So she betrayed out of fear Samson. And because her family was being threatened, and she had to choose between her family and Samson and all the community. And because she didn't trust going to Samson and she didn't trust herself, she was caught in a fear story. And because of her fear, she cut off Samson's hair. Now I don't know the whole story, but she cut off Samson's hair. We're getting like the short broke down version. And so she cut off his hair, and then that he believed took away his strength, because he was always told his strength was in his hair, and that without his hair he wouldn't be strong. So he ended up either which way, they both ended up betrayed. Betrayal was all around the community. The city was destroyed anyway. They came in, they conquered, they took him captive, and then they blinded him. And so when he was in the Colosseum or wherever he was, and he was tied up, and he could, another sense came online. He could hear the panic, the scream, all of those things. And he realized that his strength was not, that his strength was there. There was something more powerful that moved him. And it was his love for his people. And it was the love for humanity. And so he just broke free, and he demolished all of the not good people, not good energy. And so when we can demolish our old stories and break ourselves free, when we recognize that, just because we're told that something is true, it doesn't mean it's true, and that we don't have to live by it, that we got the right to question it. Could really my hair be that strength? And, I'm Indigenous. So in our culture, yeah, our hair holds that for us in our belief, but and then when we grieve, we cut it off, like, and not all do it, but there's these stories, and there's these stories and stuff that we've been told that goes all the way to the root, and we never ever question them because we just accept them. And so there is this, no longer accepting, and Delilah then would have to come into this place of forgiving herself for allowing fear to be what motivated her instead of allowing faith to guide her. So this card brings us back into the beginning of beginning again, really truly knowing that she still was not a bad person. She was afraid, like whatever that may be, but coming from the weeds, and that her world, this Delilah is not the Bible Delilah, and that this is the story of the everyday goddesses, the everyday woman, which is also, the feminine energy in the everyday man. And this is not water lilies. This is like tiger lilies. And that it's your story. So whatever you place in there gets to be yours. And our feet are still a little bit in the weeds, but the weeds are not really, the weeds is those murky places. So this is a time of like great lotus flower moments. So this can be our lotus moment. This could be our great awakening moments. This can be realizations. This could be actually breaking free and moving out of murky, muddy, unclear energy and gaining clarity and getting the clarity that you need to be able to move forward. And these are all threes, right? The power of the three. And so this is where we begin this journey into a mind, body, soul connection, coming back into the self. And that was a whirlwind of a travel we just traveled through, but that's what they're giving me to give to you. And just allowing ourselves to be guided by the flow of life and being able to trust your own intuition and trust what you feel, that if you see it coming, move. If it feels fishy, if it smells fishy, then maybe it's fishy. If it's something that makes you, that don't make sense to me, question it instead of just believing it, because there is the instigator, there is the sinister energy, there is that moving fast energy, and it can cause us, our to create a chaotic energy that doesn't need to be there. Sometimes we just got to move. Sometimes we got to question, and we got to become curious. And so it's about liberation, freedom. And so the final card to validate this is the timeless treasure, and it is Ona. And this is liberty. This is freedom, but it's the last quarter mile. So this week, as we move into, as this next week or and few days until we move into the 23rd, is that this is where we are in like a last quarter mile of our 360, which is always kind of that hardest. Sometimes it's the hardest space to escape, the hardest thing to get through. It can feel very heavy. It can feel like the wind is in your face. It can feel like things are challenging us, but it's remembering getting back to the zero, to the nine, to that place of where we come full circle when we finally step into an achievement, a growth, an opportunity, finally getting things to work out. So, from murky to clarity, to release, to growth, to endings, to new beginnings, and to rebirth, and to those beautiful lotus moments. It's the most beautiful things come from the muddiest of situations. And so no matter where you have been, no matter what you have been through, there is always that sense of there's a better life. There's a more beautiful things that are always waiting for us. No matter what, there is something beautiful. And there's something beautiful that's always on the other side of a rainy day. Imagine, after a stormy, rainy day, the rainbow comes. It's the same thing. Expect the rainbow, because the rainbow is there and the rainbows will return. And there is a return to beautiful things that is on its way. I send you so much love. Thank you for being with me always. And please subscribe if you like these videos. Much love.